Nice patch, Grandpa. Did you get that from a cereal box? He didn't flinch, just held his grocery bag a little tighter, one hand on the cart, the other on his chest, over the faded patch that still bore her name. Behind him the laughter grew. Tires screeched somewhere nearby. Someone muttered, "Dinosaurs still walking?" He kept moving. Not slow, not fast, just the pace of someone who's carried more than anyone should. The sliding doors hissed open. Cool air met sunlight. Shoppers walked by. A toddler pointed. A teenager snickered. No one stopped. No one stepped in. That's the thing about silence. It doesn't always mean peace. Sometimes it means everyone saw it coming and decided to look away anyway. If you believe no one should be mocked for carrying honor, type respect below. The bag slipped from his hand first. Then came the push. "Move it, Grandpa," one of them barked. His shoulder twisted back hard, bones protesting. He stumbled forward, one foot catching on the curb, and fell. Apples rolled. A loaf of bread landed face down. The concrete bit into his palm. He didn't cry out. One of the bikers laughed. Another pulled out his phone and filmed as the third stepped over him, muttering, "Should have stayed home, fossil." The parking lot was busy. People saw. They always saw. But no one moved. A woman with a toddler turned her cart away. A man in a business suit paused, then kept walking. Someone chuckled from inside a car. He didn't look at them. He just turned his hand slowly, brushing the patch on his chest with 2 fingers. It was stitched to his coat. Old thread, black fabric, letters fading. A name embroidered in soft white. Not his name. Hers. His knee cracked as he stood. The sack was torn, but he gathered what he could. One apple was crushed. He didn't chase the others, didn't yell. Just stood there, eyes on the horizon past the supermarket sign, as if waiting for something only he remembered. A breeze lifted the corner of his coat. The patch flickered, the laughter faded. But the silence? That stayed longer. The automatic doors opened with a soft hiss. Harold stepped inside, limping slightly. The bag in his left hand still had dust from the pavement. A banana inside was split open. He moved past rows of carts, fluorescent lights humming above. At the self-checkout line, a young employee blocked his path. Polo shirt, badge crooked, barely 20. "Sir, these registers are card only. You'll need to wait in line 3. Harold nodded once. "No trouble." His voice was calm, measured. He joined the line. 6 people ahead, 2 behind. He held his groceries in his arms, refusing a cart. The bread still flattened, the bruised apple, a can of soup with a dent. His left leg shook a little. He shifted weight slowly, so no one would notice. The man behind him did. He made a face and pulled out his phone, texting. 2 teens further back watched, whispered, laughed. When Harold's turn came, the cashier, a girl with dyed hair and earbuds in one ear, didn't greet him. She popped her gum, tapped the screen. Harold placed his items slowly, carefully, then reached into his jacket and pulled out a folded card. Military discount. Official. Laminated. Old. She looked at it for half a second, then at him. "That's expired," she said flatly. "It has no expiration," he replied. "It's from like the 90s, she added, rolling her eyes. "It's still valid." "Well, not here." She didn't hand it back. She dropped it on the counter like trash. A man 2 customers back muttered, "Should have shopped online, Grandpa." Another chuckled. The security guard near the exit smirked and looked away. Harold didn't argue. He put the card away and counted the cash. Bill by bill. Coin by coin. He knew exactly how much was there. The cashier tapped her nails impatiently. Behind him, someone sighed loud enough to echo. "He's really gonna pay in pennies?" The gum popped again. The scanner beeped. The girl didn't say the total out loud, just showed it on the screen and stared. Harold placed the coins one by one. He moved slowly, not because he was slow, but because nothing deserved to be rushed anymore. He wore a coat too warm for the weather. A patch on the chest peeked out as he leaned forward. Black and white thread, almost invisible now. The girl didn't notice. No one did. He handed the last coin. She grabbed it before it hit the counter. No thank you, no word. He gathered the items into a paper bag someone left behind and turned slowly. The man behind him exaggerated a step aside, like Harold might fall or infect him. The bag crinkled. The apple rolled again, hit his foot. He bent to pick it up. The knees didn't like it. No one offered help. Not the man. Not the cashier. Not the guard who watched from 20 feet away. Harold straightened with care, the apple back in the bag. He adjusted his grip and started walking toward the doors, but someone had blocked the path. One of the teenagers. Hoodie up, hands in pocket. He looked Harold up and down, smirked. Bet you were like a supply guy or something. Harold met his eyes. Quiet. Didn't speak. The teen turned away with a grin like he'd just won something. The automatic doors opened again. He stepped back into the sunlight. Groceries in a thin bag, spine aching. The sound of motorcycles started in the distance. And his fingers, wrapped around the strap, gripped just a little tighter. He didn't make it 5 steps before the engines cut through the air. Low. Loud. Familiar. 3 motorcycles roared into the lot like they owned it. Same leather vests, same sharp laughter. Same boy who'd shoved him minutes earlier. They swerved between parked cars, circled a delivery van, then veered toward the exit. But one spotted Harold. He slowed, pointed, grinned. They turned. Harold kept walking. Not slower. Not faster. He passed the shopping cart return. The glass doors behind him reflected the movement, but he didn't look back. Then a voice called out, clear and cruel. Hey, the war's been over for decades, old man. Someone near the entrance paused with a bag of oranges. Watched. Did nothing. The bikes rolled closer. One revved hard enough to rattle the windows of a parked sedan. Another skidded to a stop inches from Harold's side. He stopped walking. Not afraid. Just still. Didn't we already teach you something earlier? The lead rider said, removing his helmet. He had the kind of face that never got hit enough. Thought you'd be gone by now. Harold's fingers stayed closed around the bag. He didn't drop it this time. One of them reached out, flicked the patch on Harold's coat with 2 fingers. Still wearing this garbage? A chuckle. Another biker, the youngest, raised his phone again. Let's make him famous, he said. Hashtag fossil found shopping. Harold glanced at the phone for the briefest moment. Not in fear, in recognition. That same look men give tripwires. He turned to walk away. The third biker, taller, louder, and stepped in front of him. Blocked his path. Knocked the bag from his hands with a laugh. Groceries hit the pavement again. The can rolled under a car. The bread split open. The apple, bruised twice now, stopped at someone's boot. That someone didn't move. Didn't pick it up. Harold slowly crouched. His knees screamed. He didn't show it. Behind him, laughter rose. Someone whistled from across the lot. Inside the supermarket, 2 cashiers stood watching through the window. One took out her phone, started filming. The security guard leaned against the cart rack, arms folded. No one moved. No one spoke. A teenage boy in a red hoodie whispered, "Is someone gonna help him?" But he didn't move either. The biker with the phone knelt down near Harold, held the camera inches from his face. "You want to say hi to the internet, hero?" Harold didn't answer, didn't look. The biker laughed and stood, then dropped the phone. Accidentally. It clattered across the asphalt. For a second, silence. Then, crack. The lead biker stepped on it deliberately. Screen shattered. Memory erased. "Oops," he said. "Guess your moment's gone, Gramps." Harold stood again. Slower this time. He looked at the broken phone, then at the pieces of food, then at the spot where the apple had been, now kicked somewhere else. He adjusted the collar of his coat, smoothed the patch with one hand, and walked. The bikers didn't follow. They laughed, but they didn't follow. Because men like Harold don't run. And something in his silence made even cruelty uncomfortable. He didn't go home, not yet. Harold crossed the street behind the supermarket and walked 3 blocks down, past the old post office and a church that had closed its doors 2 winters ago. His steps were uneven now. The second fall had caught his hip. But he didn't limp harder. He just kept the same rhythm, like a man holding a line he refused to drop. At the edge of the civic park stood a memorial. Granite slab, 5 feet tall, names etched deep. A bronze plaque at the base read, "To those who stood, to those who stayed." Harold approached slowly. The park was empty. A few birds pecked near the bench. A dog barked faintly in the distance. Nothing else moved. He reached inside his coat and pulled something from the inner pocket, wrapped in an old cloth napkin. He unfolded it gently as if the motion itself carried weight. Inside, a patch. Black cloth, stitched in white. Not military regulation, not official, just personal. It bore a name. Elaine M. Mitchell, his wife, former combat medic, buried without ceremony, dismissed by the very system she once served. They had sewn that patch together after the funeral. It had stayed on his chest for 12 years, until today, until a boot scraped it with mockery. He stood in front of the memorial. There was no space for new names, only flowers, tokens, and sun-faded thank yous left by others. Harold looked around. No one was watching. Still, he moved like the whole country had eyes on him. He kneeled. Folded the patch once, then twice, then slid it behind a loose panel at the base of the monument, a crack he'd found years ago, where rain sometimes crept in. He didn't leave a note. Didn't speak. He just pressed his hand against the stone for a moment, closed his eyes, then stood. His coat felt lighter, the breeze colder. He didn't wipe the dirt from his knee. He didn't need to. As he turned, he passed the bench. Someone had carved initials into it recently. HDM, not his, not hers, but someone's. He paused there, sat for a minute, watched the wind tug the flag above City Hall in the distance. 3 cars passed, none of them slowed. His phone buzzed in his pocket, the one he didn't use much anymore. A weather alert. Rain expected by nightfall. He put the phone away and rose, one hand on the bench to steady himself. One hand brushing over his now bare chest, where the patch had always been. He didn't feel empty. He felt ready. It began with the sound of tires. Not loud, not aggressive, just steady, controlled. One black SUV turned into the supermarket parking lot, then another, then 3 more. They didn't park near the entrance. They aligned along the edge, forming a quiet barrier near the bike racks. Their paint was clean but dull. No sirens, no decals, just presence. From the far bench, Harold noticed. He didn't move, didn't sit up straighter, didn't smile. But his fingers, resting on his cane, curled slightly. The doors opened in sequence, not rushed, not theatrical. Out stepped men and women, some with gray at their temples, some with old scars across their hands. None wore uniforms, but they moved like soldiers. 2 by 2, silent. Each one bore a subtle mark, a rust-colored patch beneath their jackets, a white eagle surrounded by faded stars. Iron Cross unit. They didn't look at Harold. Not yet. They took position around the lot, near carts, near doorways. The security guard inside the store stared, frozen. One of the cashiers dropped her drink. A mother pulled her child closer. The child looked at Harold, then at the silent wall of people forming. "Are they police?" she whispered. "No," the mother said, eyes fixed. "There's something else." Then came the rumble of engines. Not cars this time. The motorcycles. 3 of them. Same men. Same noise. They turned into the lot, confident, loud. Until they saw the formation. Until they saw who was standing between them and the bench. The lead biker slowed. His grin faltered. "What the hell is this?" No one answered. Then, one man stepped forward. Broad shoulders. Steel gray beard, eyes like winter smoke. He walked to Harold. "Staff Sergeant Harold Mitchell," he said, loud enough for everyone to hear. Iron Cross unit reporting as requested. Harold looked up, didn't blink. Captain Ellis, he said softly. You came. The captain turned toward the bikers. We don't leave our own, he said, then stepped aside. Let the silence do the rest. The bikers froze. People were recording now. Phones pointed in every direction, but no one laughed, no one moved. The youngest biker looked like he might speak, then thought better of it. The one who had crushed the phone muttered, "We didn't know." The captain's eyes narrowed. That's the problem, he said. You didn't want to. Then, silence again. Not awkward, heavy. The kind that says, this won't be forgotten. If you believe the world needs more stories where quiet honor is finally seen, subscribe. We tell them because most people never will. By nightfall, the lot was empty again. No engines, no formation. Just the wind brushing through the cart racks, but something had changed. The supermarket closed early. No announcement. Just quiet. Staff had filed out slowly, one by one, eyes low. Even the manager didn't speak. The next morning Harold returned. Not to shop. He didn't need anything, he just walked. Same coat, same cane. No patch on his chest anymore, only stitching where it used to live. Near the front of the store something caught his eye. A small glass display case had been added by the entrance overnight. Inside, neatly folded, a black cloth patch. His patch, cleaned, restitched, reframed. Below it on a card. In honor of Staff Sergeant Harold Mitchell and all those we forgot to see. He didn't move for a while, didn't reach for it, didn't cry. He just stood there, breathing, present. A boy walked past with his father, looked up. Dad, is that the man from the video? The father nodded slowly, removed his cap. A woman in scrubs stepped out of line, handed Harold a small thermos, said nothing. He accepted it with a nod. Back at the bench near the lot, someone had carved new letters into the wood. Still standing. Harold sat down, took a sip. Warm, black coffee. Captain Ellis arrived minutes later in an old truck, civilian clothes, no symbols, just presence. He didn't sit, just stood beside the bench, looking ahead. You all right? He asked. Harold took a breath. Watched the breeze move through the flag above the store. I think they see it now, he said. Not just the patch, the cost. Ellis nodded. Some things just need reminding. They sat in silence after that. Two old men. No speeches, no need. Just wind. Just memory. Just enough. If you believe stories like this deserve to be remembered, subscribe to our channel. And if you've ever met someone like Harold, leave their name below. We don't forget them here.